Hey Zach, nice to see you. And this is WuBlockchain podcast. And so at first, can you share something about your childhood or your family background? Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in New York City, grew up, the son of, Steve and Lauren. My parents were super hardworking people. Grew up in the real estate business, really, was around sort of construction sites my whole life. Saw how, this sort of saw the inefficiencies, there in the traditional financial system. And crypto wasn't quite around yet, but it definitely started sparking my interest, a little bit in how the system could be improved.
So how did you started working in crypto? Was there a key moment or someone that got you into blockchain from your family business?
You'll have to ask Zach about where his journey started, but I was investing in the crypto space for quite some time since 2017, 2016 maybe. But World Liberty is really the first crypto business that I've helped run per se. I think just like looking at all the inefficiencies in the system, I mean, we could get into the origin story later. But a lot of it revolves around watching good friends of mine be debanked, deplatformed. It's happened to me as well. And that was really the genesis for me getting into crypto.
Got it. So what gave you the idea of the World Liberty and how did this project begin? Also, how
Yeah.
did these projects connect with the Trump family? Yeah. Can you tell us more about the early stories about the World Liberty?
It's actually so this is what I was sort of getting at in the last question, but about 2 years ago was sitting with Don and Eric. They were kind of downtrodden, and I asked them what was wrong, and they had told me that they had been debanked and deplatformed by the two largest, banking institutions here in the United States. And we started to talk about, what the solutions were, and the solution really revolved around a democratized system that revolved around, a stable coin. With stable coins, no one's ever going to tell you that, your account is shut down unless, of course, you're on some sort of OFAC list or something like that. No one's ever going to tell you who and why and what money you can send. And so that was really the genesis of World Liberty was, putting the hands back in the power of the people.
Got it. Actually, I think I heard someone told us that in 2024 and before the Trump's election, uh, you you are raising fund in Asia at first, but I think at first it's not easy. But we see the Justin Sun invest a lot, right? What's your view on working with the Justin Sun? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we love Justin. Zach and I have, we have a friendship with him. He's built a pretty incredible business with Tron. $82 billion in stable coins deployed on Tron last I checked. So, we think he's built a great business, and we're friends with him. And yeah, that's sort of the relationship. I mean, I'm sure Zach can speak to it a little more too.
Yeah. First off, I'm Zak Folkman. I'm the COO, co-founder of World Liberty Financial. I can give you a quick background for anyone who doesn't know me. I was also born in New York City. My parents were also entrepreneurs who worked incredibly hard. So I think both Zach and I learned a lot about our current values from our families and watching them work and build businesses. I actually got introduced to crypto. I had friends that obviously were using Bitcoin for online gambling or whatever. I wasn't really a big online gambler, so never really used Bitcoin and didn't, have much need for it. But I was going to law school, so I understood contracts and transactions very well. And when I read the Ethereum white paper, I understood that Ethereum and smart contracts was going to change everything from finance to technology to legal transactions, across the globe, allowing two parties to be able to transact without ever meeting anybody or even trust each other. So when I learned what that was, I dove head in. Myself and our other co-founder, Chase Hero, have been business partners for a long time. We both went heavy on Ethereum first and then Bitcoin. We advised many early successful startup projects that were launching back in the early ICO days and have been investing through our family office and advising on projects for a long time ever since. As far as Justin Sun, he's somebody that we've known for years, just through, his successes and, his reputation in the industry obviously precedes him. We've gotten the opportunity to become friends. We've had many mutual friends for a long time, but he's been an incredible supporter of the project. He's an amazing guy and a fantastic visionary when it comes to the cryptocurrency space.
Well said.
Okay, thanks. Also, the next question is, can you guys introduce the World Liberty's products now, and how do they help users with, especially with their no banks, right?
Yeah. So I think the goal at World Liberty Financial, as Zach had alluded to, is giving tools for financial transactions to people without fear of being debanked. But even beyond that, it's giving financial tools to people who are underbanked or completely unbanked, but also want more out of their services than they would get from a traditional institution. So I think everyone who watches your channel probably believes that crypto provides faster, more transparent, more secure, and cheaper transacting. And that's one of the things that we all love so much about crypto. You combine that with the idea of being able to have self-sovereignty or self-custody over your assets. And now you're really like talking about something that hasn't been around before. When you think about crypto, it's always existed as this different thing outside of traditional finance. So historically, if you wanted to spend your crypto at the store or for gas or groceries or coffee, it's been very difficult to do that. Some exchanges have had a card, but even still, they haven't been very effective. Our goal is to give people a simple app like Cash App or WeChat or any of the Venmos out there that allow you to easily store and send funds, combine it with crypto transacting like swapping, staking, yield farming, all of that, and give people a simple card where they can go spend their crypto at point of sale whenever they want or wherever they want, making it completely unnecessary for them to have a traditional bank account. And as a result, we understood that if people are going to transact every day in crypto, they need to have a stable coin that they can use and trust anywhere in the world that is equal 1-to-1 for $1 always. And for that reason, we started USD1, which has become the fastest growing stablecoin of all time, which Zach can probably give you some more insight into our thoughts and ideas when we built that.
Yeah, I mean, like Zach said, fastest ever growing stable coin. We're now at a little over 2.4 billion. Last I checked, we traded over $500 million of volume in a 24-hour period. And we're only 90 days old. And on top of the stable coin and all the other initiatives Zach was talking about, we're actively working on building out a really robust tokenization platform for RWAs. Myself and the Trump family, we come from a traditional real estate world. And both of us have pretty incredible real estate portfolios that are really ripe for tokenization. I think that's a really interesting area, to start. But that's not, that's certainly not where we'll stop. We're looking at, the oil and gas sector, the commodity sector as a whole. Really, our belief at, at World Liberty is every asset in the world should be tokenized. It's a better technology and it's a better system.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned USD1, the stablecoin. Yeah, the community knows that the USD1 works a lot with the Binance and the BNB Chain, right? So when did the Binance join, or how do they support the USD1? Also, we know the Binance lasted funding round use USD1, and why they choose USD1.
Yeah, so this is actually a pretty common misconception. So we're not like, Binance doesn't own a piece of World Liberty. We're not partners. I mean, the partnership is really, there's a lot of demand for USD1 on Binance, right? And so if you go on PancakeSwap or, on BNB Chain in general, like there's a ton of demand for USD1. People are organically pairing meme coins with it, starting launch pads on Binance with USD1 exclusively. So there's a ton of demand for USD1 on Binance. Binance is really just giving the customer what they want. As for the $2 billion transaction, that wasn't, Binance was just receiving that money. And so, they weren't really a party to that transaction. That was, we convinced, MGX that USD1 would be a better way to settle. It's safer, it's faster, it's more transparent. They settled a $2 billion transaction with no transaction fees in under 2 seconds, right? So like, it's clearly, just a better way to send money, especially like large international payments. That being said, Binance, all they had to do was receive that money, and they could have done two things, right? If there was no demand for it on Binance, they would have just, probably burned it and gotten cash. But there's a massive demand for it in the system. So, it's stayed on Binance.
Beyond that, though, we've had some really incredible partnerships across the entire BSC ecosystem. Projects like ListaDAO, PancakeSwap, I mean, you name it, all the protocols on Binance Smart Chain have directly wanted to work with us, because I believe not only do we have the fastest growing stablecoin with USD1, but we also have the only stablecoin with a cult-like following. And so projects like Sahara AI, for example, who adopted USD1 for part of their crowdfunding for their IEO, they actually ended up raising the majority of their funds came through USD1, which shows that our community is very active, very engaged, and loves to trade. Zach was talking about our daily trading volume. The reason that our daily trading volume is so high is because people are not just holding this token long term, they're actively using it, and the velocity of USD1 is very high. So I think as a result, a lot of projects on Binance Smart Chain have wanted to partner with us simply because they know that people have a very close affinity for our project, and we have a cult-like following like a meme coin does, except we're a stable coin. So it brings a very unique characteristic to the stablecoin game that probably has never been seen before with any stablecoin.
Got it. So I think the community also care about how many people are working on the World Liberty team now, and how do you speed up their work?
Yeah, so we're constantly hiring. However, we're not hiring people just for the sake of hiring. Instead, we only bring on A players, absolute rock stars. So everybody that we hire is the best at what they do and the absolute best that we can find, from everything from our analysts to our developers to our chief compliance officers, our general counsels. Every position that we hire for is always, we're looking for somebody who is not just a body, but somebody who brings a very unique perspective to the table. For this reason, we've been able to achieve so much with a very lean team. We have about 30, give or take, maybe a little bit more now, but approximately 30 full-time team members, and everyone from our ecosystem managers to our business development to our C-suite are absolute rock stars, which has been the thing that's allowed us to be so successful and grow so fast, but still keep a small team.
Yeah, we all wear a lot of hats. There's nothing too big or small, for anyone at the company. I'm CEO, Zak's COO, and we get involved in, the most minute tasks at the business, and we also oversee the biggest initiatives. So I think that's key. We believe that the most successful companies of the future, it'll actually be critical for those teams to be lean, especially as, AI starts to become more leveraged, et cetera. So I actually think it'll become enormously difficult to run, an efficient company that has, call it, 1,000+ employees in 5 years. I think the future is really, more efficient workforces.
Got it. So the next question is about the ALT5 Sigma. Yeah, it's very popular now and as a world liberty public company. So can you explain more about this company and how can ALT5 to help the world liberty ecosystem?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, it's so ALTS is we announced a deal where they'll be acquiring $1.5 billion of the World Liberty token. It helps the ecosystem in a lot of different ways. First of all, the company has some pretty incredible technology that specifically revolves around stablecoins, which will help the USD1 flywheel get a lot bigger. Second of all, this company is now, it's really these treasury strategies, right, are long only, and they've are actively standing behind this token, right, and we're bringing it to NASDAQ and letting it trade freely. And this company plans on acquiring a lot more tokens in the future. So I think clearly it's good for the ecosystem to have a major buyer that's constantly in the market buying tokens and standing behind it. And so, we're really excited. I'm joining as chairman of the board. Zak is joining as board observer, and we're gonna roll our sleeves up and get to work.
Got it. So my final question is, we know the Trump's elections really helps the crypto world a lot. So what do you think about the Trump's crypto policies? Also, what positive impacts do you think the Trump's policies will have on the entire crypto industry and the future?
Yeah, listen, I mean, so here's the thing, like people in crypto, right? First of all, I want to just say this, like we separate, business from politics. We're a business, like we don't do anything on the political side whatsoever. But, clearly President Trump is the greatest president of all time. He's putting clear regulation in place, which provide clear rules of the road, right? So these policies are tremendous for the industry. We were operating basically with blinders on, right, for the entire existence of crypto, and particularly under the Biden administration. I mean, people were just moving offshore because it made no sense to risk starting a crypto business in the United States, which is completely preposterous. So, he's gotten the Genius Act, signed into law. I think you'll see clarity in market structure as well in the not so distant future. And, I take my hat off and I applaud the entire administration. I think they've, done an absolutely fantastic job.
Just to add to that, I think, previously, we had seen the crypto industry, at least here in America, divided between the two political parties. And to give you a sense of what an amazing job President Trump has done, I think he's completely united both sides, and the industry now as a whole is on the same page and has completely set aside their political beliefs. So if you look at the ability to have somebody set aside their political beliefs based on the things that he's enacted and the way he's moved the industry forward, not just in the United States, but all around the world. We're seeing governments around the world starting to pick up and reflect the same policies that his administration has put in place. I think that everybody in the world in crypto, or people who will benefit from crypto and don't even realize it, owe him a massive thanks.
Yeah. Also, Folkman, we have a question is about, will World Liberty do more activities or community things in the Asia or also in the Chinese community?
Absolutely. So we're actually traveling. Part of our team will be including myself, will be in Hong Kong next week to meet with a bunch of different players in the crypto space, a lot of investors, a lot of potential partnerships. Then Zach, myself, the rest of our team will be heading out to Korea for Korean blockchain. I think we have a very big announcement that we're going to reveal at Korean Blockchain Week. And then following
and we got an even bigger we got an even bigger announcement probably for the Token 2049 Singapore, where we'll be on the main stage. So we got a lot of big announcements, a lot of big initiatives to roll out. And I think the world is going to be pretty excited when they find out.
And
yeah, the next 2 months will be a lot of meetings. Yeah, in Asia, too many meetings in Asia in the next 2 months.
Well, yeah, we're obviously an American company, and we're all U.S. citizens. However, we acknowledge that the majority of the world in crypto is based out of Asia. We have a lot of friends and partners out there. There's a lot of World Liberty financial token holders in Asia all across the region. So we've spent a lot of time out there, and we will continue to spend more and more time out there as World Liberty continues to grow. So to all of our supporters in Asia, we really appreciate everything. And we also will be over there as much as possible and would love to meet as many of you as we possibly can, whether it's in Hong Kong, Korea, Singapore, or who knows where we'll be.
Absolutely. And I think that's been one of the greatest parts about starting World Liberty. Sometimes Zach, me, Chase, we'll walk down the street and we'll just meet someone from our community and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is the greatest community of all time. And that's really what makes our day. Right. And that's kind of what this is all about, right? Is giving people the tools to, live their lives and be happy. And so like Zach said, to our community, we absolutely love you guys. And, come, if you see us in Asia, come up, say hi. We're open books, and, we're on an airplane, probably 500 or 600 hours a year. We think it's really important to, fly to all over the world, to the places that we're doing business, and, actually be on the ground and see what the problems are on the ground. And then you can sort of come up with adequate solutions. So yeah, we're going to continue to work our butts off for the community, for the project, for World Liberty, and I think the community is going to be, really happy with the results.
Okay. Thank you for your time to answer so many questions, and we'll really hope to meet you guys in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Korea in the next month.
Thanks, Colin. We'd love that. We'd love that.
Okay. Yeah, we may have more podcasts in the future, and when you have some other big announcement.
We're always available, my friend.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all your supporters and viewers.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.